Celebrities are wearing my buttons. People are tweeting about the book and the quotes and things of that nature. I got Oprah's attention.
Yo.
What's up?
What's up, coworkers?
What up, coworkers? Welcome back to the We Outside After Work podcast. I'm your host, Dana.
And I'm your boy, Aaron.
And today we are joined by a guest. His name is Gene, and he is a entrepreneur, author, all-around great person. And we're going to get into his background today. But as y'all know, we are going to start off our episode with our icebreaker, which is bad choices.
You want me to start?
You can start.
All right, I'll start. Gene, we're going to start with you too, all right? Do you support polygamy?
Why is that funny?
I mean, listen, me personally, I'm kind of stingy. So if I'm with a chick, I'm with my lady. I like it to only be her. And I like her to feel the same way. Only be me. But listen, people like what they like. So if you got to be on the same page with your partner. So if they want you and the rest of the world, y'all got to have that conversation, because they may want you and the rest of the world, and you may only want them, or you may want them in the streets and they may only want you. So both people got to be on the same page, but people like what they like. You understand what I'm saying? I like one at a time. Yeah. So
now, is that one at a time, or is that one over a duration of time? You know?
Yes, you're sharp. You're a sharp one.
We podcasters.
Both of them. But,
Dana, how about you?
For me to answer the question, I do support it. Okay, like I'm not against anyone who practices it and has a conversation with their significant others, and it's clear, right? As far as do I do it, I've never been in a situation where I felt like I needed to or I wanted to, and I've never been approached with that question. So I just think I'm young, and you know, wherever like life takes me, we'll see how things go. But I do support it.
I hear all that. Me personally, I actually think polygamy is a really silly concept, because most of us can barely have one spouse. Why do we want multiple spouses? Now, polyamory, on the other hand, or other aspects of it, I can completely understand that, where it's like I'm having multiple partners.
So then what's the difference between polygamy and polyamory?
If I'm not mistaken, and y'all can correct me, y'all do that from time to time, I believe polygamy is multiple spouses. Like I'm married to you, and I'm married to you, and I'm married to you, whereas polyamory is I have a spouse, but I can mess with other individuals, and it's all understood. It's like extended partnerships.
Okay, it seems the same thing to me.
It's not, though, because if you're my girl and she's my girl versus if you're my girl and I'm just fucking her, that's not the same. You get what I'm saying? It's anyway.
Okay.
Anyways,
but you don't support it.
No, I don't support it, because I don't see the need to burden yourself with multiple different energies like that. In regards to monogamy, though, I also don't support. Because what I think people should do is I think they should not allow these titles and these character traits and all these things to dictate how they meet a spouse, how they build a family, whatever the case may be. Because a lot of us are grown and groomed into monogamy. So now we think, oh, I'm just supposed to find my Prince Charming, and I'm just supposed to have my kids and my picket fence, and life don't always work like that.
It doesn't work like that, but it's also, what do you want? So for
it's
me,
easy
it's like,
to want that, though. Somebody's told you to have it.
It is, but it's like, do you want that family dynamic, and what does that look like? Because most times it is just the one person, like Gene said, and then you're building that family with one specific person. But then it's like, well, what if you meet different kinds of people in different parts of your life? Then what does that look like? It doesn't have to be polygamy, but then is it a title? Is it that commitment?
But I also look at it from like a Eurocentric perspective versus an Afrocentric perspective, right? Or Islamic perspective, where it's like you can have multiple wives and it's completely acceptable. So it's just a matter of what we've been conditioned and what we've been taught. So as a parent, stop conditioning your kids, let them develop a love life of their own, and then go from there. But that's all I got. I ain't got nothing else on it.
All right.
I don't support nothing.
All right, let me read my card. So, Gene, you're going to start us off. It says, have you ever been cock-blocked by a friend? And if so, tell us about it.
I believe I have. I'm trying to think of an exact time it did happen, but guys can be very shady. Very, very, very. But the most common thing that happens is like when a guy like finds out like you're interested or like talking or been like messing with someone they know and or like, and they'll like talk shit like,
About the
behind
girl?
the scenes. No, about me.
About you
Like,
to the girl.
Yeah, he ain't write them books. He got a ghostwriter. He ain't like they'll talk shit, but it always comes back to me. So it's like,
Right.
oh, interesting. And
Damn,
then I just
you ain't write them
just
books.
act-
That's crazy.
right, like you know,
That's
like,
some hater
like,
shit.
Who you listen?
Are they your friends that you end up finding out?
Those be the hurtful ones. Like, damn, I wouldn't say friends, but people I didn't like expect it from. Like, damn, it's like that, but you know, it just comes with the territory. A majority of people ain't shit, and once I realized that,
Ding.
it makes a lot of my life easier because I'm not gonna get mad at a thief for stealing because that's what a thief gonna do. And if I know you raggedy, then I cannot be too surprised when you do some raggedy shit. So it's like. So, have I been cock-blocked? Yes. I'm probably being cock-blocked right now. Probably right now at this moment. But the thing they do the most is, like, say things about me, behind me, and pray that it, like, changes the opinion of whoever the woman is. But it's been happening time and time again. So.
Well, for me, I didn't get cock-blocked by a raggedy friend. So, I got cock-blocked by a homegirl. I was trying to talk to her sister. And she's like, listen, I know you, I know your style, I know what you about. Don't even do it. And it's like, yo, you know, she looked like something Hayek a little bit. So I was like, yo, let me, you know.
See what's up.
Right. We was texting, shit was going great. We had a whole good 2 days of like life ahead of us. And then she hit us with the kibosh like, nah, not happening.
What?
So it was crazy. Shout out to her. She just got married not too long ago, had a baby, you know, congratulations. Not saying it should have been me, but it shouldn't have not been me if you get my gist, because...
Play Neo, do you?
Yikes. That's like when men have children with women and then they'll hit you with the, oh, I wish this was your child.
No, don't
I've
do
gotten
that.
that before.
They say what?
I've gotten that before. Where like men I used to talk to and they've had a child and they hit me up and they're like, oh, you know, if only it was yours.
We don't do that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Women
The
get
gall
that.
on these.
Right. I would say for me, I have, from what I know, I don't think I've been cock blocked, but I would say for guys, that is something I deal with more. For me, like my friends, we kind of know like who is interested in who and like to respect that boundary. So I've never actually had that before.
You
so.
ever been a cock blocker?
I would say with my brother.
That's
when
crazy.
we were in high school. Yeah, when we were in high school.
They be your
So
own people, for
Right.
real.
but for guys, because we kind of know how you operate with women, and not saying you treat everyone as the same, right? But in high school, I knew that he was talking to someone else, and then one of my friends always thought he was attractive when we were younger, and they would be like, oh, what's up with your brother? And I'd just be like, he has somebody.
Where does your loyalties lie?
With the right thing to do.
No, it don't.
Yes, it does.
Bullshit.
What are you talking
Yeah.
about, man?
Listen, first off, I don't have a sister. But if I did have a sister, I would hope that she would always throw me those oops.
I ask my
so
sister all
listen.
the time. Yo,
With my brother, like, he's a great guy, but when we were younger and we were in those adolescent ages, you know, like how guys operate, they want to try to talk to everybody.
Yes.
So for me, if I have a good friend who is looking at my brother that way, I'm going to be like, listen, like, this is where he's at and this is who he's talking to. So, you know, like, you have that choice, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Hindsight being 2020, knowing that at 30, your relationships don't mean the same thing at 17. Would you have just been like, go ahead and do you?
If it was the same situation, I would still give that insight. Why? Like, what is the problem with
because he's a
letting
growing
them
adolescent
know?
boy. He needs to get
No,
so his
we're
royal
talking about
oats.
30. 30 is different. But I'm saying, like, if my friend came to me and was asking me about my brother, I would tell her how my brother is. And then you can have that option
what about
to
like your whole
proceed.
friends? Like none of your whole friends was like, hey, what about your brother? What about them?
Go ahead and say
I don't
it.
have whole
I knew
friends.
she was gonna say
Everybody got whole friends. Yeah.
What's a whole friend?
A friend that is a whole.
You know what whole friends are.
I don't have any.
None?
I have
None of your friends
loyalty.
promiscuous?
No.
Even if they were, she wouldn't say it because she's an honest friend. And, that's what we love. We love honest people. We love motivational people. We love good people. And we got Jean in the building, who's also a great person.
We got Mr. Changing Lives.
Mr. Changing Lives.
Yes, and you got the sweatshirt. So, the merch.
Yeah.
Don't break down, break through. I actually still have my T-shirt that I wear to the gym.
I see you be working out in it.
Yeah, I be working out in my gym shirt like that. But let's get into your background. So you've been Mr. Changing Lives for as long as I've known you in college.
Yeah, it had to be in 2011.
Yeah.
I think 2011 the coin got termed via Twitter. Yeah.
So why did you think you was that person?
I didn't. I was running away from it. Nah. All this shit was happening for me, and I was like, I was just trying to figure things out. Like, to this day, I'm still trying to figure it out. But when I decided, I was on Facebook, and it was summer, and school's about to start, but I was just recording, recording videos, like what you see on Instagram now, but I had a thought in my head why don't I'm gonna change 4 lives this summer. Don't know how, but I'm gonna change them. And then I had the idea, I'll just do inspirational videos, but not just inspirational, but I'm being transparent about where I'm at. And I did that, and I started looking at the comments, and people were like, oh my God, I like it, I love it, da-da-da.
So it was the reaction you got from putting out the content, or it was just you knew you wanted to change lives regardless of what that looked like?
I knew I wanted to change lives in that moment. I wasn't thinking about future, long term, would it grow, just intuition. I had that thought, and I was and I acted on that inspired thought and started doing videos, and they were 4 or 5 minute videos on Facebook. I was doing on the MacBook, just put up photo booth. I know people got short attention spans, so something short, and I would post it, and I started getting a reaction, and then the book came out, and then the pins and things of that nature, and then I saw it stemmed from that idea of me changing lives, so I called the pin Changing Lives pin, because I saw what it was doing, and then I created that hashtag, and then I saw on Twitter, one of my followers was like, Mr. Changing Lives, and I was like,
you like that?
This ain't bad, but it scared the shit out of me. That's why I picked it, because you can see something and be it's good, but it scares you a bit.
Because that's a very high title.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? It's what does that mean? Oh, Mr. Changing Lives. That's what I think when I see that. So for you said it was scary. What about it made it scary?
Yeah, because it's Mr. Changing Lives. You hear that, it's oh, this guy, changes lives.
He's a miracle worker.
He has the ability to get you from one part of the circumstance to the other, and I'm that's the goal. But even with speaking and writing, I was apprehensive at first, because I'm when I think of that, I'm thinking the big time. I'm yo, I'm still in college, I'm still broke, I'm still trying to figure it out. But people related to me being transparent about where I was in the journey, so that's been the driving force behind me doing it, because if I knew what I was getting myself into, I'd have been talked myself out of it. Because this shit is not for the weak. This shit is not easy. It's not easy at all. But is it worth it? I'll say yes. But while I was going through it, I'm man.
What was the first moment? You don't have to get specific, but what was the first moment that you felt like you changed a life? What did that mean to you?
I got a message talking about, I saw your video and it prepared me for a job interview, and I got the job, and I was like.
So what was the videos though? What was the content?
The first one, I know it was about gratitude, so it was being grateful. I was playing that was the intro for 2 seconds, because I didn't want to be copyrighted or nothing, and then I was yo, just be grateful about what you have, what you have now. You once didn't have it, and I know for me personally, I just got a new phone. And now that I've grown accustomed to it. Now I guess the screen is clearer, the phone is bigger. So when I wanted it compared to what I had, I was oh, this is an upgrade. But once I get the upgrade, now I'm used to it. So a lot of times we get what we want, we get used to it, and then gratitude goes out the window. But I believe the first step is to be grateful for where you at right now. Because one, it could always be worse.
Right.
It could always be worse, and you gotta be grateful for what you have if you want more.
And I do think we do live in a society of comparison, right, with social media. So the gratitude does hit home for me, just because I am but I am a very ambitious person. I'm constantly doing different things, but I'm always looking for the next thing to do instead of sitting in that moment of what I've already done and being grateful for the things I have, the relationships I have. And then it's all right, once I feel that, now let me start looking elsewhere. So I do think that's similar to social media, where people are seeing all these things that they could possibly have and they want, but it's like, what's right in front of you. So I think that message was dope for you to put out for people to really take in.
I appreciate that. And social media is like the worst place to be, because everyone is like showing their highlight reel. So everyone is showing like the best of the possible best of where I'm at like right now. And then you compare where you at to someone's highlight reel. It's like no one's really like, there's a few, but not everyone is not on social media every day talking about the ins and out of like the shit that like they go through. They only show like, well, this is the defeat that I've accomplished, but they didn't show like the 6 months or like, you know, the time it took before then to actually like get it.
But can I get an opposite perspective? Because when you get somebody that's on social media and they're negative and they're not happy, or they're given any inclination that it's not going great, they get shamed for it. So it's like, if I am going through that struggle, if I am going through a process or a transition, nobody's giving me credit. Nobody's applauding the transformation. They're only applauding the highlights. So how could you accept that? Like, how could you? Like, if you're going through, like Dana had your workout shirt on, right? If you see Dana have that workout shirt on in January and then in December you see her progress, that's what we should look at social media for, right? Isn't that motivational? But most people, they'd be like, look at her struggling in the gym. Look at her.
Yeah, I think it stems from you as a person and like where you're at. Because if you are not happy with your circumstances, you're going to see other people's accomplishments because they are posting their highlight reel. You're going to see that as, oh, they're showing off. Oh, they want someone to think they're better than them. So for me, it's like you have to start with the inner work first, and whatever that looks like for you, and then you can be happy for other people. I do want to get into your book, because you did write a book called Is It Worth It?
Let me work.
You got
it. I put my thing down.
You got us a copy?
It's drip.
What's that? What do you
Yo, first off,
Bow!
yeah.
Oh, yes. Is It Worth It by Jean
Clearville.
Yes. So what made you want to write a book? Now, this does look like a pretty fast read, which is great,
Yes.
because we just talked about people's attention spans. Yeah, give us some insight on your book.
Oh, well, that's my third book called Is It Worth It? It is, how can I say? It's like a marriage of my first two books. So the first book I published while I was in college was like a collection of poetry, basically talking about different
Aaron's
emotions.
into poetry.
You a poet? Yeah. So the first book of poetry, and then the second one was like a book of like quotes. So this is like a marriage of the two. We got poems, we got quotes, and while I was speaking for that, I forgot how long the time period was, but when I had the intention for the book, I would ask people like in the audience, like, what you're going through right now, is it worth it? Like, whether it be school, work, like whatever you're striving to do. Now, whether you're like in the right direction or in the whatever direction you're going in, like obstacles are gonna come your way. But when they do, the first thing you say is it worth it? Man, don't want to go to class, don't want to go to this job, don't want to pick up the phone for this, that, and the third. And when that thought comes, like, what is your thought process? And how can I encourage you not to quit? Because like I said, if I knew what I was getting myself into, I'd have been talking myself out of this. So I would ask people like, what made you quit, or what made you not quit? And I took like what I felt as though were the best answers. And these are people like I know. So then I had their testimonies sprinkled in there. So it's inspirational poems about, you know, not quitting and figuring out like, yo, where I'm at right now and what should I do? Should I continue in this path, or should I just stop cold turkey and really figure out what I need to do? So literally on the last page, you answer, by the time you're done reading, you'll be able to answer the question like, yo, is what I'm doing right now, is it worth it? And you got to answer that.
So for you, I'm getting a lot of, you are the driving force for other people. Like you are that person that you feel like you want to motivate someone to keep going. But where does that stem from for you? Like, who is that person? Or like, what did you go through that you feel like this was my calling?
What did I go through to make it?
Did you go through anything?
Shit. Listen, I've heard it a lot of times, but until it happened to me, and the saying was like, when you sick and tired of being sick and tired, like, many times I heard it, but it wasn't until you really get sick and tired of being sick and tired, like, yo, things have to shift now. Like, it cannot continue the way it's going. And then once you reach that point, it's like, man, something got to change, and you have to like do something for it to change. So when I wanted to write the first book, I didn't have no money. I was in college. But I knew that I had the idea that, yo, if I become a best-selling author, I could shake some shit around. I could help my mom. I could, actually afford swipes in the dining hall, and instead of building these relationships to have swipes given to me. But yeah, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and that was what motivated me to not only like put the first foot forward, but to be like, I need to figure something out. But until you reach that I don't want to call it breaking point, but I'll use it for lack of better words. But you reach that breaking point of like, yo, something has to shift. You're either gonna fold or you're gonna figure it out.
All right, so you got your point of motivation, but where did you get your actual fuel to motivate? Like the information that you wanted to give people, where did that come from?
That came through experience. So like, the only reason I'm equipped to tell you like why you shouldn't quit about something, because I've quit a million times. If there's anything the thing that I'm most successful at is failing.
But that's important though. Like as an entrepreneur and as someone who wants better for yourself, you do have to fail at different things. I can relate to that because for me, like I thought I was going to be an Amazon seller, and then that didn't work for me. So I'm like, all right, what's next? Like I knew I wanted to sell something or make money online using my laptop, but I was just trying to figure out how. So I lost some money doing that. And then I'm like, all right, well, let me shift to real estate, because real estate sounds great and everyone is talking about being a real estate agent and you can make all this money. But the shit was boring to me. I'm like, I don't necessarily like, at least my teacher at the time, she was just so monotonous and like a lot of information to take in at once. So I kind of just stopped that. I'm like, I'm going to get back to it, but let me find something else. So I did find, I feel like now, which is my niche, and that's the stock market and trading and stuff like that. Like I thoroughly enjoy it, but it took time for me to go through different things and figure out, all right, this doesn't work for me, to find the one thing that I love. So I do think that's important. Being an entrepreneur is just finding different avenues to eventually find your calling.
Yeah, you just gotta try shit.
Yeah, you gotta try shit.
You just gotta try shit.
Yeah.
And failing is honestly one of the things that they don't teach us about, because all they do in school is try to encourage you not to fail, right? You gotta pass, you gotta pass, you gotta pass. But I learned a lot more in opportunity than I will ever in success. And for whatever reason, we're not equipped for that. And I think a person like you coming through with your stories of failure gives somebody that experience to help you be equipped with that. Did you feel like that was the case, that people could actually resonate with you? Or do you just feel like, hey, these are my friends, they'll listen to me, they'll buy my book?
I wanted people, especially the friends, family. I'm like,
supportive.
I wanted, what I learned very quickly is that the people you expect and want to support you will not at first. And then it's the people that don't know you from a can of paint but resonate to the message. They'll be the first in line, this, that, and the third. But once I realized, it took me a while to not take it to like heart, but it's just part of the game. You just gotta keep going through that. But there's people that, like, when you get good news, the first thing you want to do is call your friend and this, that, and the third. So when you like are trying to do something or have something out, you're excited, be like, yeah, I just got this, that, and the third. But when they don't want to, or probably are not in the position to like help you or support you in that specific time, it's just like,
yeah.
man,
can we talk about that though? Like the expectations of family and friends. Like we did touch on this a couple episodes ago, but I knew a long time ago that yes, I wanted my family and friends to support what I was doing and to talk about different things that I'm doing and have those personal conversations. But I didn't expect them to listen to a full podcast episode. Like, yes, you can subscribe and stuff like that, but they're not the people who are going to be that long-lasting person that's going to, like, buy your stuff or really be there for you for the long haul as far as the target audience. So for you, like you mentioned, that was something that took you a while to understand. Like, what to you felt like the moment where, okay, my family was not going to be my support system in this journey of being Mr. Changing Lives?
But I realized that in like the beginning. That was like one of the first lessons I learned. And plus being from having a Haitian mother, like even Caribbean, West Indian, it's like, oh, you got to be a doctor or lawyer. And I can't, now looking where I'm at now, I can't fault her because that's what she was told and believed would be like top tier success once I come to the U.S. So if that's what she believes and hears from everyone else, that this is what's going to make my son the most successful, then that's what I'm gonna tell my son. But I'm like, I don't want to do none of that shit. And I wanted to write, but they don't understand like writing and things of that nature. They don't have like a example that a coworker told them about it. So now I'm like doing this, praying for like support everywhere, but I'm not really receiving it in the way that I wanted to. But we also got to like look at our definition of support. A lot of us want support from people that are not part of our target audience. So if I got a product or service that's geared toward a specific, like, let's say elementary school students, I can't be mad if a 35-year-old doesn't want to purchase this product or service, whether they're my cousin or like my aunt, because this is not like my target audience. Now, would I like my family and friends to support me regardless? Of course, but we got to also take into consideration, like, if this is not the person I'm targeting, I can't feel no type of way if they support me or not.
Now, not to get too personal, and I don't know
personal as you want.
How much you want to talk about this, but you mentioned your mom and how in the Caribbean culture, she did want you to be a doctor and lawyer because that was just the generations before and what they expected when they came to the U.S.
Yes.
So did that change the dynamic of your relationship when you told her that, okay, I want to take this entrepreneurial route, like I don't want to do that, like I want to do my own thing?
She wasn't really she didn't really understand it. So when people don't understand things, they just like go back to what they know. So, but in that moment, I didn't like, the way I'm describing it now, I didn't know this in the moment. They're already doing as much as they're doing shit behind the scenes that you don't even know.
Right.
So it's like, how can I gently tell you, like, yo, like, this is how I need your support. And you also gotta tell people exactly how to support you, because they may think they're supporting you in their own way, but that's not how like you need support. Like, I need you to like just spread the word. Like, tell your coworkers this is what I want. Like, that is the most simple. Like, do that. But they might like do something completely opposite and different. And it's like, you have to be able to articulate to people how they can support you. Once you do that, then who supports you. But if you don't like tell people how exactly to support you, then you got to work your way.
And that's what I wanted to circle back to, right? Me and Dana, I don't want to say we struggle with familial, friendly support from certain people, but I think we also put it in a perspective of, I just need you to do this one thing for me. I don't need you to watch 40 minutes of our podcast or read 5 chapters of your book. But if you know somebody that's in the 3rd grade that need financial whatever, or literacy, whatever you talked about earlier, help them out. This is where support and infrastructure comes from. And I think oftentimes we allow our family to have that excuse of, oh, well, they're not our target. My grandfather's not my target. And somehow, some way, he watches this episode every week, right? And that's support, because what that does is that gives a click, that gives a view, that makes us go in the algorithm a little bit further. If one person buys your book off of Amazon, that makes you have an extra, however much your book is, plug your price real quick so we can make sure.
$20.
Right. That gets them an extra.
That
gets them an extra $20 just because somebody purchased a book, and then on Amazon, if they do a review, somebody's going to read a review and they're going to see, this book changed my life. That makes people want to buy. I know we get to this point where it's like, oh, you don't have to financially support me, or you don't have to watch. No, you do. You do. And
I'm trying to eat. Like, what's going on here? Like, I'm trying to eat.
And it's not because I want you to coddle me. No, I want you to support me. Literally lift me up, build me up. I'm trying to build something here. And in the meantime, you can't push me through. I shout out my cousin every single week, and it goes really unnoticed because we don't get all the notifications. But if we post a reel, he's sharing the reel, right? He doesn't tell me. He doesn't tag me. He doesn't say anything. He just posts the reel. That's all I ask. I don't ask you to do too much. I don't ask you to buy this or follow this person. But every person that comes on our show will be hypocrites if we don't support you.
Yeah. So something that, Gene, that you said that resonated with me was asking for support and telling them how you need that support. So for me, I did kind of just expect those people to share, and like Aaron just said, but I don't tend to ask for what I need help with, because that's what I see it as, like me asking for help. Even yesterday, my organization, shout out to the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Central Jersey chapter. Yes, so we had orientation and a ceremony for new members. And we found out about a Zoom link the night before. And I did share it with family, but I didn't expect them to tune in, only because this is a part of my life where I'm telling you about it. But as far as your support, it's like you can support if you want and watch it, but it was about 2 hours long. So I didn't expect them to stay on the full time. But for me, it's like, it felt good to just let them know. Like, hey, I'm doing this. You can get on if you want. If not, it's fine too. But I think I just have to stop expecting things to happen because we are related and we are close, and just ask for what I need that to look like.
But I also think you should be able to ask somebody, hey, can you jump on this link for 2 hours for me, right? My cousin, she has MS. And I don't know nothing about MS. I barely even know where it came from. I think it's like Lou Gehrig's disease and all that stuff is similar, right? So she said, I'm doing this thing. If my family could come on and support me, that would be greatly appreciated. I sat there the whole time. They had like a Q&A session. I offered a question. It's just support, right? It don't take nothing.
Which it seems so simple for us, right? Because we're that kind of people. But a lot of people don't operate in that either and think like, oh, this little thing will mean so much to someone else. It's like people, to me, I feel like are so focused on what they're doing and self. Yes,
Yeah,
that is
everyone
hard
likes
to
to put
look at what someone
first.
else is doing and be like, oh, let me support them regardless of how small it is. So I think it just comes back to the person and like how they think, they should be able to operate in different relationships.
Well, contrary to popular belief, humans need to be told what to do.
They do.
Like to be told what to do. So if I need traction, then I'm going to tell people, please like, share, subscribe, comment, press every little button that's underneath this post for me, please. You have to tell people how to support you, because someone could just look at your post and think that just by watching the whole thing that, that's the most support I can get. Now, does that help? Yes, but you got to tell people like exactly what to do, because if you don't, people are just running like chickens with their head cut off. So you got to be real specific. And me, I hate asking for help. I grew up not wanting to ask for help. I was in the class, the teacher would describe the problem and then ask the class, yo, if you didn't get it, raise your hand and I'll go over it again. My ass didn't understand
No
the
one
word
wanted to raise their hand, yeah.
And I'd be like, because in my mind, I'm like, well, I ain't going to look stupid in front of everybody.
Right.
Now look at me. She 2 topics ahead, and I'm just like, yo, I still didn't get the last
You tuned out because you lost
things.
now.
But had he raised his hand, somebody else might have raised their hand, and somebody else might have raised their hand, and somebody else might have raised their hand.
Yeah.
I think we, as a society, we got to start finding ways to be. I guess we always look for grace in others, but we also got to look in grace in self, right? People aren't going, maybe as a kid, they probably would have made fun of you. So we're not going to act like they wouldn't have made fun of you. But as we get older, we got to recognize that it's okay to ask for help. I struggle with it. You struggle with it. Dana, you struggle with it. It's something that we constantly struggle with because we feel like we shouldn't have to ask for help. Not only because we are intelligent, but also because we should have a support system. But people don't recognize also when we're in need of help. We could be drowning and people will be taking their phones out and recording it instead of jumping in and trying to help us.
Yes.
And I think that's a microcosm of society right now.
If nobody needed help, we'd be here alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
I do want to get back into you, Gene, and like what you do, because you are a motivational speaker. And you do go to schools. So I've seen posts where you're at high schools. I think you've done some universities.
Yes.
So what does your presentation look like, and what is the message that you want to get out? Because I know you mentioned the whole like, is it worth it? And you want them to feel like what they're doing is overall beneficial to their ultimate goal. But what does the preparation look like for that target audience?
Well, I'll start off with this. I help students pick a career that they can be like passionate about and purposefully engaged. And what I mean by that, like, because when I was in college, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I knew I liked to write, but I didn't think I could like take writing into like a career. So my first paid speech, I think, was at Montclair State, and this is like when right after like the book just came out. Celebrities are wearing my buttons. People are tweeting about the book and the quotes and things of that nature. I got Oprah's attention, this, that, and the third. And now, I think Montclair State like reached out to me like, oh, we got EOF program. We want you to come speak to our students. I'm like, shit, I got classes today. Like, I'm still in school. I'm like, they paying too? I was like, hold up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I skipped this class right now. And I did that speech. And to this day, I have no idea what I told those freshmen. But what I do remember is that I was completely transparent about where I was, and that resonated with them. So moving forward, I was like, well, if I'm transparent, it's gonna resonate. So then I was like, well, that was my thing. It's been my thing. Like, I could just be transparent about where I'm at, because I'm talking about how I struggled in college and how I had a dream and was scared to do it, but I still did it, and all these like doors started to open because I started with one simple action. Now, if I was in front of these students trying to sell them on how to, I don't know, be a movie star or write a script or something that I'd never done before, then I'd be, how they say it, I'd be completely capped. Like I'd be a fraud, and you know it.
Yeah.
So I talk about things I've experienced and things that have helped me, because people can smell like the shady shit when you're ingenuine and things like that.
Yeah.
Like if you're lying, like someone's intuition is strong enough, and
they like the transparency, because that's something that a lot of motivational speakers, they tend to do. Me and Aaron, we talked about the PodCon we went to about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and there was someone on there who she talked about her journey with getting to 100K and what that looks like. So people, they want to know that I'm not just getting your highlight reel like on Instagram. Like I'm getting the full behind the scenes story and like the struggle that went into the person that you are today.
I post like the rejections.
Yeah, and I want to just say shout out to you though, because a lot of people don't give you that level of vulnerability, and that's probably what a lot of people are connecting with your story, and why I do feel like Mr. Changing Lives can impact a lot of people, because they see everything that you're going through.
Now, you're a writer.
Yes.
And you said you've always wanted to write. Was there anything else that you would have done? Like, what did you go to school for?
That's a good question. Double majored in marketing and sales. And I only did sales because Willie P was like one of the only universities that offered like sales as not only a minor but then a major. So I was like, all right, I'll be first.
So all three of us are marketing.
Yeah, I did marketing just because I figured, I don't know, the shit just sounded good. And then I was like, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to market myself. But then I'm in these classes.
I was good at it.
I'm in these classes, and they showing me how to market for someone else. But I'm like, bro, how do I market this book? How do I market myself?
Right.
So I was like learning this in real time, taking classes to market shit I don't want to market, but I already got a product and a service, and I kind of want to market this, but that's not what y'all teaching me. But I'm going to focus on, I was in class on my laptop, like, creating press kits and like trying to sell shit and tweeting and da-da-da-da, and they talking about selling printers and shit like I give a fuck. Bruh.
Oh, no, my marketing class, we was selling imaginary shit. Like, we made shit up and had a project. I'm like, man, I'm never going to do this in real life. Like, how do I get to a point where this is what I'm supposed to do for the next 50 years of my life? Where's that?
Yeah.
Still haven't seen it, by the way. St. Peter's, if you want to try to show me the way.
And for me, like, since we're talking about our stories of what we thought our future would look like, I am in IT, but I never saw this as a career. Like, I was a business marketing degree person too, and I wanted to do advertising for cosmetic companies. Like, that was my ultimate goal.
Baby, it's Maybelline.
Yeah, Maybelline, L'Oreal, and it just didn't work because the closer I got to graduation and I was looking for these internships, none of them were paying. Or it was like you would have to go through a year or two of no paychecks or nothing in order to get to the next level, like really start at the bottom, which was fine. But when you are someone in the family who, like, you're one of the first few people who went to school, and now you're financially responsible for yourself and anything extra, you need to get paid. So I had a car note, and it was like I needed to start out the gate getting paid, and then we were paying student loans like 6 months after we graduated. So I don't think ideally someone wants to do an unpaid internship starting out of college.
Nope, I did a paid one.
Yeah.
That was a long one.
So let's talk about the future of Mr. Changing Lives.
Dum dum dum.
Right? So for you right now, like, what do you want to do as far as, like, where do you want to take this title?
I just want to be the best version of myself in every aspect. Right now, specifically in real time, I need to write my 4th book. So I got 3 books out, and I'm focused on creating the 4th book. Right now,
can you tell us like what the 4th one is going to be?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like right now, I don't want to say writer's block, but yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what the book is going to be about. Who is it for? Who am I writing for? Why? Things of that nature. I haven't figured that out yet, but with writing, I can't force it. So I just got to be intentional about it and hope that the answer comes expeditiously. But I've been harping on it for quite some time. Like I wanted the answer like I don't know, years ago, but like I said, I can't.
Do you think there are things where, like, not to force it, but things to give you inspiration? Like for your past books, like what do you think besides the experiences you were going through? Like what else helped? Was it talking to different family members, talking to friends, traveling? Because I do know traveling is like a way to just get out of the matrix of, you know, the day-to-day stuff. So what do you think helped you with your past books?
It was more of like being comfortable about where I was at in that time where I wrote the first two books. Like with the first book I wrote, I got kidnapped to an open mic, fell in love with open mics and just kept doing open mics. And I would share these poems on like Facebook, and this one Facebook had like notes. So you would post notes and that would be my poetry, and people could like comment and like and things of that nature. And everyone was like, you should write a book, you should write a book, you should write a book. I'm in class, like I don't even read books for class. What makes you think I'm gonna like write a book? But the more I heard it and the more I did open mics, I was like, maybe something's being told to me. And that combined with being sick and tired of being sick and tired, I was like, you know what? We are going to write a book. And I had no idea how to write a book. It's published, self-published. I didn't know nothing about that. But you're going to reach a point where you're going to have to make some things happen. And you got a decision to make. And either you're going to fold or you're going to move forward. So I was like, well, I got to move forward. So I figured it out. It took one step, and then that was followed by the next, and that was followed by the next. But that's why I try to tell people, like, just take the first step.
That's important, yeah.
Yeah,
just
that's where I'm at right now.
That first step into what you're trying to become.
Because my book is done. It's just, I got to get to step 2. You know, I just got to find a way. But for me, with writing, COVID was a really, like, big point in time where writing was easier for me. Did you have like that ease of writing with so much free time and just so much creative just excess in your mind? Because I know that's how I was. I know a bunch of creatives got really, really going during COVID.
It's because everything stopped, right?
Yeah, in a sense. I was going through a whole bunch of shit during COVID, so writing wasn't really like on my radar. Like I had a whole bunch of like speeches and conferences, and all of that got like clipped. So it's like, oh damn, these are like tens of thousands of dollars I'm like losing here. So the last thing I want to do is write, even though that's like my go-to. Like I'm like, yo, how do I get this money back, or like how do I like, you know, adapt to what's currently happening in real time? But the time where I did write during the pandemic, my friends, you know what's that that chat room thing that they had, Clubhouse. Yeah, Clubhouse. When Clubhouse was lit, and then my friends had they would do like writing prompts. So they create a room and they would just bring up different writing prompts and then give us time to like write, like probably like, I don't know, not long, 30 seconds or something like that. And then people that would want to share would share. And after doing a couple of Sundays of that, I was like, yo, this is lit, because I'm being introduced to a new way to write, and two, I'm like with people who also like writing, or if they don't like writing, they like hearing it. So that was it for me, like being around people that were like writing or wanting to write. So that era of Clubhouse with like the writing prompts, that was lit for me. But other than that, I was too busy trying to get my head up out of water.
Yeah,
like,
I feel you.
Yeah. No, I love the pivot, because the fact that your friends knew that, I guess, their writing circle couldn't go out physically to speak to crowds of people. It was like, well, how do we do it in the house? Because that was a thing where a lot of jobs, they did migrate to like the Zooms and all of that, because it was like, we can't be around people, but people still need to make money. I know some DJs, like we had, I think it was DJ and Pure and other DJs, they were on Instagram doing the live, and like on Sundays they would have specific time slots where you can hear certain kind of music. So I do think as an entrepreneur, it is important to figure out, all right, I'm thrown this curveball. How do I make that into a positive, and how can I pivot so I can still make money?
That's
Just
the
gotta keep
definition of
swinging.
being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like,
Gotta keep swinging.
how
Once
do
that
you
curveball
solve?
comes.
How
Can
do
you
you
solve a
solve
problem?
all the
Like that's
problems?
what being an entrepreneur is. Like someone who can like solve problems continuously.
I think that's something that a lot of people miss though, because they always think that help is what their solution is and not what the solution of the guest or the customer or the audience is. Like it's not just you. Like you can write a book about anything, but what is the solution to the audience, the people who are reading? And I can tell, is it worth it? Is that because the question is answered at the end of the book individually, correct?
Yeah.
So obviously everyone should get to the point where they're saying yes, but they're not getting to that same point by the same methods. They're going to go through different obstacles to get through your story, and I think that's important. And I think that's why it's so wonderfully crafted and wonderfully read. So kudos to you for that.
That's why I
shout
have
out
the.
to you.
I appreciate you. That's why I have the. That's why I believe the testimonials were important because I had friends that said, yeah, it was worth it. I had friends that said, nah, it wasn't. Like I'm scared to lose my job and not have stability. Like everyone had a part of their journey that they were transparent about, and I knew that what I go through, a certain number of people are going to relate to it. What you go through, a certain amount of people, certain group of people are going to like relate to it. What you go through, so I'm like, I want to give people as much POV as I possibly can. I just want to be like, oh, this is my way. I'm gonna give you my perspective, but I'm gonna give you a perspective of someone who doesn't want to be an entrepreneur and wants a 9-to-5. Someone who wants to build a family, a traditional family thing, like whatever you want to do. So I tried to get as much different POVs as I can, and also people that were being transparent about where they are. Like I had a friend that was in Jersey, went all the way to California, and he described what that journey was of like just uprooting everything and leaving because that's what you felt you needed to do. So I gave people as many different like avenues to look at things from, because I don't want you to just look at it from one lens. Look at it through as many lenses as you can and then come up with what works for you.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, as an entrepreneur and business owner, and we are content creators, it is important to get that feedback from your customers or viewers. So for you, how do you connect with people who are reading your books and your poetry? Like what is the best way for them to give you their insight?
Leaving a review on Amazon.
So you
do
read
that.
them though?
Of course I
Okay.
read them. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The good, the great.
Do you adjust your books
No.
and stuff like that based off what they say?
Nah, well the book is already out, so this is the finished product.
Is
so-
it like motivation for the next one, is what I meant? Or
Well,
no?
like the reviews?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like, it depends, like, what it says. Like, if someone says, oh, the font was too small, then I could take that into consideration for the next book and,
Yeah.
like, put it up from 11 to 12 or something. But someone says, like, oh, this shit was ass and I don't like it because, I don't know.
Oh well.
Yeah.
So it's like, I gotta look at, like, try to see the person's intention and, like, what they're actually saying. Because, like, people just say shit just to say shit.
Well, you
But-
mentioned how you get your motivation from different people and like their journeys. So is it like your close friends only, or is it your actual target audience that you're getting this information from?
Both.
Okay.
Because obviously it's easier to get it from someone you have a relationship with. So I was talking to people that I had like a good relationship. Like this is not just like a question like you can ask anybody, but will they open up to you and give you the answer you're looking for?
Are you like the problem solver friend?
I'm the one
I'm kind of getting that.
people come to.
Okay.
And that should get burdensome because I'm like, yo, I got my problems too. A lot of people, like you said, a lot of people are like self-driven. So they like want to know like, all right, fix my problem first and then, you know, we'll give a fuck about you.
Exactly.
So it gets hard.
What
more do you want from me?
Literally,
One of the
yeah.
most interesting things that we talked about was our collective studies in marketing. But it tells me that you did learn something from that class.
What I learned?
You learned market research. And your market research, going through individuals for testimonials, that's essentially what that is. And it's you put your own spin on it. You didn't do it to the point where it's like Mr. Jophagus taught you how to do this.
Oh, that's one
I
hell of a
just-
name.
Right? I was like,
You couldn't be Joe.
Mr. Jophagus just taught you how to do this. It's like, no, you put your own spin on how you can use your education to get something out of it, even if it didn't directly come from that.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. It's like, yes, we get something from these educations, even if it's not enough for the $55,000 that we owe. But like hearing your story honestly, it motivated me. So I'm probably gonna get on this book. Try to get it done. It's literally done, but now I'm definitely getting it
this
done.
is your sign from the universe to get your shit together.
I've been getting a lot of signs. So.
Yeah.
Well, you either gonna keep ignoring them, or you gonna make something shake. Because if you don't do nothing, you're just gonna keep getting the signs.
I do feel like with the signs though, when you ignore them or you keep making the same mistakes, that they get more, I don't want to say worse, but it's done so that you can pay more attention to it. Even
it's
if
meant
it
for
does
you
look
to
worse.
like move, and if you don't move, the situation doesn't change.
It gets worse.
The common denominator is you still gonna be in the same place, asking yourself, "Yo, what the fuck?"
Facts. Because I'm big on that. Like, I'm big on paying attention to the universe and God and Jesus, because I do feel like there is a guide that is helping us through this life. And I feel like Aaron, I don't know what he's going through today, but he's been saying he's dealing with the man in the mirror. He quoted Michael Jackson. And whatever is happening, this episode, I feel like is speaking to him directly. Like, that's the energy I get, because,
they usually do. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
Everything is on time.
Right on time. Yeah.
It's like, and I've been, I told you I've been praying lately. So it's like little things just keep, and it comes off like it's a negative, but it's not negative. It's consequence. And it's consequence to my actions. A wise friend once told me that it could be good consequence, could be bad consequence, but life has consequence. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
and we love the accountability. So yeah. Okay, so we're coming to the end, guys, and we have a segment on our podcast called Happy Hour Moment. So this is a moment in time where we do want to reflect on great things that we are doing or things we want to happen for us in the future. So yeah. So Gene, you are the first one up. What's your happy hour moment?
Happy hour moment. Basically, I really want to, because when I start writing, like, I don't, like, everything, like, shuts off. Like, once I start writing, like, the whole world stops. So I really want to get back. I want to be seduced by whatever idea so I can create the next project. But for everyone else, I just, support is support. Buy the hoodies.
Yes.
Buy the shirts. Buy the book.
Buy the book. I was going to put it up for you.
If you know someone that's a principal, a guidance counselor,
I know a couple.
dean of students,
a couple too.
Anyone that's in education, higher education, that needs a speaker, like that's like when we talk about identifying support, like that's how you can support me, by buying the things I create and spreading the word for me to like get bookings. Because like as entrepreneurs, like we're passionate about it, but we gotta eat.
Right.
We gotta eat. If we not making money out of this, that's when people like start quitting. So yes, you're passionate about it, but we gotta eat. Yeah. Entrepreneurs gotta eat. You got work for a reason, because you got bills. You get hungry. The bills thirsty.
Don't stop.
They don't. Whether you buy my hoodie or not, that ain't gonna stop Verizon from sending the email saying, "Yo, your statement due." Yeah. So I just support.
And we don't want Boost Mobile.
No Boost Mobile. Chirp, no chirp. But yeah, for me, just buy the hoodie, buy the merchandise. But most importantly, if you know someone that's looking for a speaker, just, Mr.ChangingLives.com.
You trying to come to South Jersey?
Listen, I go wherever. All
right. I got a homegirl that's a vice principal down there, so I'm going to hit her up.
Listen, when it comes to school, if they got a budget, I'm there. Like, listen, it don't matter.
Yeah. Okay. That's dope. What about you, Aaron?
Usually I come in prepared with a happy hour moment, but I actually going to change it up because Dana seems to call me out.
I am psychic. Like, I keep telling you this, and I feel it. So I know.
But no. I'm actually appreciative of Gene, actually, because little do a lot of people know that I literally want to kind of do the same things he do. Motivate kids, go to schools, have those like speeches in the auditorium. Like, that's for whatever reason been a dream of mine. To see somebody, a black man, doing it, that's motivational just off the strength. Especially when it comes to writing the books and different things like that and motivating people. Like, you never know when you have a skill in that until somebody tells you you got a skill in that. So hearing his story about, the first person that said that he changed their life is like, it's reminiscent of my story a little bit of hearing that. So it's like, it's possible. And it might not seem possible sometimes when you got far-fetched ideas and you want to do certain things and you got grandiose plans, but it's like, I'm looking at a man that we walk similar paths. Not the same path, very different, honestly, but very similar in different regards where it's like, it is possible. So I'm going to do everything I can to support this man. Just like Zalianne with her books or Tiffany with her books, I'm going to purchase his. I'll make sure all of y'all try to get a hoodie. You know, let's make sure we support.
Yes.
Like it literally goes the furthest way. And obviously, like we've been talking about, let's pay attention to the brand that this man is building. This man isn't just building Mr. Changing Lives. He's building Jean Clairville, you know, the author, the entrepreneur, the creator, the human. So, you know, big shout out to you. Pleasure to meet you, brother. This is important to me, more than you know.
Well, I appreciate the kind
Yes.
words. I really do, because a lot of people, like, even that right there is confirmation that, oh shit, maybe I am doing the right things. And a lot of people, like, you know, they want to say things like that to certain people, but they like keep it to themselves. And like,
Or they're not as eloquent.
They don't have a way with words.
And when you keep stuff like that to yourself, like, I could be going through something like right now, and him just saying that gives me enough not to quit today. And sometimes you just need enough not to quit today. We're not talking about for the rest of the week, the month, because you start thinking about that now, like your mind starts, oh my God, it gets overwhelmed. But hearing that is enough to, like, you know what, for the rest of this Sunday, rain, sleet, shine, whatever's going on, like, you know what, I'm kind of doing the right thing. So I appreciate those words. It's very important. And I also, to the audience, yo, if you got something to get off your chest, coworkers, tell your coworkers how you feel. You know, give people their flowers while they still here, please.
And I would say, for me to answer the question, my happy hour moment, I did allude to this earlier. My organization, the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, we had a ceremony yesterday where we inducted 15 new sisters. And all of these women are from different walks of life. We do have nurses, we do have stay-at-home moms, but nonetheless, their overall goal is just to give back to the community and how that looks. So in the organization, we have different committees to essentially give back to younger girls who are coming up and who are looking for that idol to help them navigate this world when it comes to economic empowerment, finance, education. So it was just great to see all of these women who are now dedicating their time for that cause. So shout out to you guys. And I did meet a lot of new friends, so I'm excited for that. And we do have a lot of people in the education space, so I can reach out and I will ask and see if they need any type of motivational speaker, a Black motivational speaker who can speak to children who look like them. So I'll definitely plug you in for that.
I appreciate you.
But yeah, that's my happy hour moment.
Yeah, and time out. I don't mean to cut you off, because I think what you said was really important. But we also want to get this man in front of these little white kids too, and not because they white kids, but because he's not a Black speaker. And that's not what I'm trying to like cut you off for, Dana.
I know. He's an overall speaker.
And we want people to know
kids.
that, right? His story is not the Black story or the Haitian story or the immigrant story. His story is a human story that everybody can resonate with. And I've been having some like issues recently with a lot of people are talking about Target because Black History Month is coming up. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe Target has these black shirts in front of their stores. And it's crazy to me because you don't say that about July 4th when we have American pride. But if I have pride in being Black, that's a problem. So, we need to show this man as an American, as a human, as a Black man, whatever y'all want to identify him as. He's a man that can change your lives. So, let's make sure we big him up.
And I do just want to add, though, I want to add, I didn't mean it to seem like he was in a box, right? So I also want to just say the reason why I said in front of these Black children is because a lot of the women do work in predominantly Black schools.
Yes.
So I think that would just be a good connect for you.
Well, it's important for people to see people that like look like them. So I understood what you was saying.
Yeah, and I didn't mean that that way. So I do apologize if that came off.
I wish when I was like in school, that I saw someone that like I could like resonate with.
Because we had speakers come to school, right? But for the most part, it wasn't a lot who looked like us.
Remember none of them, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Like,
LeVar Burton.
remember you.
We had LeVar Burton.
I
Is
don't
that
know.
the
Reading Rainbow? Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
That's the
I was
only.
watching
That's the only
that.
one
I
from
don't
we
know
got.
who
Then he
that
went on
was.
Star Trek.
Yeah, but yeah, this was a great conversation, and I feel like thank you for joining us, Gene, and
y'all
giving
for
us
having
more
me. Thank you
insights
for
on Mr.
having
Changing
me.
Lives and how you do that. So yeah, Aaron, if you want to take us out with the Gmail with your sunglasses on.
If you would like to join the podcast in this wonderful seat, have a wonderful conversation with the two of us and Marvin in the background, make sure you hit up WOAWpod@gmail.com. And with that being said,
Guys, we
Well, on that
outside and we out.
we wouldn't want to stay on that note today, huh?